Perry accuser Derek Dixon sits down in a TV interview for the first time, sharing allegations of workplace assault and harassment, claims that Tyler Perry denies. But Dixon says he's speaking out now to try to stop a billionaire who won't stop them.
Tyler Perry, the billionaire mogul once praised as the pride of Black Hollywood, has just been arrested, shaking the entire entertainment industry to its core. FBI agents swarmed his Atlanta mansion in a dramatic raid, uncovering what insiders claim is shocking evidence tied to multiple alleged victims. The world is stunned as the man who built an empire on tales of redemption suddenly finds himself trapped in a real-life script he never imagined.
Tell us about the first time you ever met Tyler Perry.
Yeah, I met him at his studio opening party in 2019. I was working for an events company, and we met, and he said to me, are you an actor? And I said, well, not right now. I'm working on it, but not right now. And he said, yeah, you are. We need to talk. You should get my number and
We all saw it play out in real time. Black SUVs tearing through the gates while blue-jacketed agents stormed Perry's estate with the kind of precision you only see in high-level takedowns. Witnesses said agents marched out carrying box after box of files, encrypted hard drives, and what insiders whisper could be video proof of shocking encounters. The scene felt straight out of a movie. Now the whispers won't stop. Were those just business papers, or the missing pieces to expose a secret network of exploitation? Everything seized is locked away tight inside the FBI's field office, guarded around the clock. Insiders warn this could mark the collapse of Perry's empire. His team has gone dark, phones off, lawyers huddled in a war room, plotting their next move.
What made you decide to come forward with your story?
I wanted to speak out and not stay silent about it anymore.
The most chilling discovery? Secret hard drives, encrypted, hidden deep inside Perry's estate, stashed behind false panels and locked with heavy security codes. This wasn't some casual stack of studio backups. These drives were buried like treasure no one was ever supposed to find. The big question haunting everyone, what's actually on them? Could they expose coercion, manipulation, or something far darker? Authorities are staying silent, but insiders whisper the drives might hold evidence powerful enough to erase Perry's place in Hollywood forever. As the investigation grows, the question lingers, how many victims are there? And what do those drives really reveal about the empire's king? Every sign points to something much bigger than a personal scandal. The FBI is locked in, with sources confirming this probe already stretches far beyond what the public knows. One retired studio exec who worked decades in the business summed it up best. If the rumors about those hard drives are true, Hollywood's got a crisis way bigger than anyone dares admit.
Kind of a toll, would you say, that this is all taken on you?
I was extremely anxious. The calls got to a point where the calls and texts were almost every day. Just this constant state of like, if I don't answer, I will lose my job.
How did it all spiral to this point? Enter Derek Dixon, the actor now giving a face and a voice to the storm surrounding Tyler Perry. Dixon, known for his role as Dale on Perry's BET drama The Oval, didn't just file a lawsuit. He dropped a bombshell that ripped apart the glossy image of life behind the golden gates of Tyler Perry Studios. In his first on-camera interview since launching the now infamous lawsuit, Dixon made it clear, "I wanted to speak out and not stay silent about it anymore. The courage and the cost are undeniable." His lawsuit isn't only about his own ordeal. He's describing what he calls a coercive, intimately exploitative power dynamic. Claims that, if true, fling open the doors to a world outsiders were never meant to see. Court records and Dixon's televised confessions lay out a timeline that feels like the beginning of a twisted Hollywood script. The two first met at the star-studded opening gala for Tyler Perry Studios in 2019, a night that should have been the start of a dream. Dixon says Perry approached him directly, asked if he was an actor, and even handed over his personal number. What looked like a golden opportunity now raises a darker question. Was it really a chance or a trap? Months later, Dixon landed the breakout role of Dale on The Oval, a career-defining move for any actor. But behind the cameras, he claims the relationship with Perry quickly crossed lines, growing deeply personal, invasive, and eventually unbearable.
We're over at his house. We're having some drinks in his guest house, and it was late at night, and he has a guest quarters, and said that you can sleep there instead of not driving. And his house is far from Atlanta and where I was living, and I got into bed, and then I noticed that he climbed into bed with me as well and started rubbing my leg. And I jumped up out of bed.
According to the civil complaint, what started out as mentorship spiraled into something far more sinister. Dixon claims Perry's messages crossed lines fast. Screenshots now plastered across court filings and TV screens allegedly show a disturbing pattern. In one, Perry wrote, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless fun? Have you found that in therapy yet? I would hope that you would let someone hold and make love to you." Perry's legal team, of course, fired back at full force. Attorney Matthew Boyd branded the case a scam, declaring, "Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail." But for Dixon, this isn't about money or fame, it's about survival. He told ABC News, "There's a lot of shame around it. Just trying to think what you could have done better, and having to deal with the judgment of how you could have ended it differently." Dixon alleges things took a frightening physical turn in January 2020, when Perry invited him over for drinks at his Atlanta mansion. Instead of a quiet night in the guest house, Dixon says the evening turned into a nightmare. He claims Perry climbed into bed with him, rubbed his leg, and made unsettling comments about his looks. "I jumped out of bed," he said, "turn around so I can look at you," and then he got up and left. If Dixon thought that set a boundary, he was wrong. Soon after, his character Dale's script in The Oval delivered its own chilling omen. Shot 4 times in the chest at the end of season 2. Dixon recalled thinking, "If I don't make him happy, I could be off the show for good." The threat, he suggests, wasn't just personal, it was professional. In Hollywood, the power to change a script can also mean the power to erase a career.
He has said, turn around so I can look at you, and just commented on how I looked, and then he got up and left. So I thought after that instance, it was pretty clear that I was not interested in that type of a relationship. It was very, very strange. I mean, I think it's okay that people try to make a move or shoot their shot, but if they get rejected, I think that they should.
What Dixon describes next is a nightmare of nonstop pressure and escalating advances. And then came darker encounters, a late-night incident in Perry's trailer involving the most explosive claim yet. In June 2021, inside Perry's mansion, Dixon says the mogul yanked down his underwear and told him to just go with it. Dixon says he tried to keep calm, locked himself in the bathroom, and only felt safe once Perry finally left. In his televised confession, he explained, "Unless someone's had control over their body taken away, you don't really understand. That fear of being trapped, unable to escape, and terrified of losing everything, it never leaves you." His words echo through every line of the lawsuit like a haunting warning. Meanwhile, Perry's response has been cold and calculated. No direct statements, just fierce denials and counterattacks from his legal team. But insiders claim the silence is cracking behind the scenes. Whispers are growing louder, NDAs rushed out, hush money rumored, and emergency meetings. The empire once sold as untouchable is suddenly showing cracks, and the scramble to contain the fallout looks more desperate by the day.
His way of showing his power over us and our careers, and that he doesn't have a problem with just one of us off.
Dixon's choice to walk away from the Oval in 2024 came at a brutal cost. Nearly $400,000 in lost income in the rights to his own comedy pilot, ironically titled Losing It, which Perry still allegedly controls. The financial blow is massive, but the lawsuit takes it even further, demanding $260 million in damages. Dixon says the figure isn't just about money, it's about sending a message. How do you stop a billionaire who won't stop themselves? And he's not fighting alone. Once the lawsuit went public, Dixon says his inbox filled with messages, some supportive, some threatening, and others sharing eerily similar stories involving Perry. Now the ripple effect is shaking Hollywood. Industry figures who once lined up to work with Perry are backing away fast. Alfonso Ribeiro, who directed a dozen of Perry's episodes, has publicly made it clear he wants nothing to do with the mogul anymore.
I said, stop, I don't want to be naked. I don't want this. And he was just like, no, I'm not going to hurt you, and just continued. And in that moment, unless someone's been through something where they have their control over their bodies taken away, you don't really understand the kind of feelings that you get in that moment. It was almost like every thought came through my head to run.
All the while, the shadow of that FBI raid refuses to fade. There's still no official word on what's inside those hidden hard drives, but insiders say investigators are dissecting every file, every encrypted message, every scrap of digital evidence. Some claim the drives hold private communications with actors, confidential studio emails, even security camera footage. Others insist the files are so explosive, so incriminating, that even veteran FBI agents were left speechless after seeing them. And the chilling question remains, if even half of these allegations are true, how many others share stories like Derek Dixon's? With the world now watching closely, the biggest fear is what else might crawl out of the shadows of the Perry empire, and how far people went to keep it buried.
For money to buy your silence?
No, I think I was looking for accountability on to what he did. I think what he did was wrong, and it needed to be something that would deter him from doing this to somebody else.
Behind the glossy front of Perry's billion-dollar empire, insiders paint a very different picture. From the outside, it looked like the dream factory of the South. Massive sound stages, star-studded premieres, and waves of eager actors flying in from LA. But beneath the surface, whispers say there was always a darker current running through Tyler Perry Studios. Former employees claim every detail, from scripts to salaries, flowed through one man alone. Writers say they were replaced overnight just for asking about union contracts. Even seasoned actors reportedly had to play by rules that seemed to change depending on Perry's mood, or when the cameras stopped rolling. For many, working at the Atlanta compound felt like the closest thing to making it in Hollywood, until suddenly, it wasn't. On one hand, he smashed open doors long closed to black creatives, jump-starting careers and cutting real checks in an industry notorious for broken promises. On the other, his absolute control left little space for complaints or resistance, which raises the question, was Perry's chokehold on every detail a creative necessity, or the perfect shield for behavior no one dared call out? Now, with allegations stacking up higher by the day, that question feels more urgent than ever.
Night where, we were both kind of feeling drunk, and I remember we were walking back to the guest area where I've stayed before, and there was this health monitor scale on the way. And I was like, what is that? And he said, well, you have to be in your underwear to measure, whatever, so you should do it. He reached down and pulled my underwear down and grabbed my
Even veteran stars reportedly tiptoed around Perry, terrified of offending the man who could greenlight or kill their next project with a single phone call. Everyone knew the price of speaking up: career limbo, reputational scars, and the quiet erasure that comes when Hollywood decides you're too risky to touch. Now, with the FBI combing through evidence, old stories suddenly read like warning signs everyone ignored for years. And fueling the tension even further is one of the industry's most chilling whispers, the so-called Hollywood silent list. According to multiple insiders, this isn't your typical blacklist. It's allegedly a covert document circulating among actors, crew, and agents, a survival guide for navigating Perry's productions. Some say it's just a roll call of names branded difficult, uncooperative, or not trusted by the powers that be. But others insist it's far deeper, a shadowy ledger tracking favors owed, secrets buried, and the staggering price of silence, paid not just in cash, but in careers made or destroyed.
That's when he pushed me up against the wall and grabbed my again.
This so-called silent list isn't just late-night gossip whispered at rap parties anymore. It's taken on a life of its own. Actors talk about it like an unofficial survival guide, passed down like street code. If it's real, the implications are explosive. The list wouldn't just point at Perry. It could also expose everyone who helped enforce the system or cashed in by staying quiet. And now, with federal investigators reportedly grilling witnesses from coast to coast, the question isn't if the list leaks, but how far up the food chain the fallout will go. Still, the official line hasn't budged. Flat denial. Perry's legal team insists the allegations are fabricated, a scam designed to squeeze cash out of a billionaire who made himself a target. But the optics? They're sinking fast. When ex-collaborators like Alfonso Ribeiro are willing to break ranks and openly declare, "I don't need or ever want that man to do anything for me," it's clear the old guard is fracturing. Just a year ago, Perry was locked in a bidding war to buy BET. Today, he's fighting just to keep his name off a blacklist tied to his own empire.
Your initial interactions give you pause?
You know, a few of them were did give me pause, but they weren't bad enough to think like this was a dangerous situation in the beginning.
Behind the headlines, more dominoes are lining up to fall, and the legal machine is only just getting warmed up. Derek Dixon's lawsuit, already a cultural earthquake, has cracked the door wide open for others to step forward. Civil attorneys are circling. FBI agents are cross-checking texts, tracing timelines, and matching names. Every leak, every claim, every internal memo ramps up the pressure. And now, the documentary world is closing in. Rumors say Surviving Tyler Perry is already in production, aiming to showcase first-hand accounts and leaked files. What happens if those locked-away digital archives now in FBI custody really do contain surveillance footage, studio logs, and confidential settlements? The industry's biggest players, who once fought for Perry's approval, are suddenly walking on eggshells. Every word weighed like it could be evidence. Even Perry's longtime allies, the ones who defended him through battles with writers and waves of media backlash, are now silent.
After that, he called several times and I ended up getting afraid of what was going on the other side. So I picked up, and that's when he said, you know, he was sorry for what happened. He doesn't know why he did that, and that maybe he was self-sabotaging or something. And in the same call, he said, and don't worry, we're gonna do.
What's clear is this: Tyler Perry's saga is nowhere near finished. As more lawsuits stack up and new voices step out of the shadows, the empire he built so carefully is starting to crumble right in front of us. The big question now: will this scandal finally drag one of Hollywood's most untouchable moguls into real accountability? Or will Perry's powerhouse legal team find a way to bury the truth before it ever hits daylight? Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one.